At the end of the day, what the Americans want, first and foremost, is to be able to remove any threat that may come from the Iranian nuclear program. And of course, that has many shapes. That threat could be diminished in many different ways. But what the Iranians want, obviously, is for economic sanctions to be lifted, economic pressures to be reduced.
It is a great honor for us to announce that we have reached an agreement on the Iranian nuclear issue.
In a few moments, I will sign a presidential memorandum to begin reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime. We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction. Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States. America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail. Thank you.
Mr. President, how does this make America safer? How does this make America safer?
In some ways, we're going back to where we were in 2015, 2016. So what was the point of leaving it? I think one of the excuses, and this is just an excuse, right? It's not correct. But one of the excuses he uses is that Obama did not take this to the Congress and the Senate, and so he didn't do due process. Now, this is a president who does all sorts of things, avoiding his own cabinet, never mind the Senate or Congress. But the excuse that some Republicans have used in the past is that this should have been ratified, it wasn't ratified, we didn't know, that kind of thing. The problem remains that having nuclear-grade uranium, or indeed weapons-grade uranium, or indeed a nuclear bomb, is not necessarily sufficient. You need to be able to deliver this bomb. And Iran's Islamic Republic is currently very limited in its ability to use planes good enough to deliver this. So it can use it in coordination, in conjunction with missiles, but it will not be a straightforward.
We're having direct talks with Iran, and they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable to doing the obvious. And the obvious is not something that I want to be involved with, or frankly, that Israel wants to be involved with if they can avoid it. So we're going to see if we can avoid it. But it's getting to be very dangerous territory. And we had just a lot of good talks on a lot of things. I appreciate very much what you said.
For Iran, the issue of the economy is significant. The currency, even in the last 2 months, has dropped considerably, and it will continue dropping. You don't forget that European countries who remained, at least in name, in the nuclear deal, have not made any economic or trade deals with Iran since 2016, 2017, because of secondary sanctions. So the situation is very bad. For the United States, it's very difficult to tell what exactly Donald Trump thinks. There is this idea that he wants to clear the deck on a number of issues.
But with Iran, yeah, if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. He'll be the leader of that. But nobody leads us. We do what we want to do.
Did you have enough
run out on the talks?
That's because when the election was rigged, I figured they'd get the weapon because...
We are we are talking of what are called very speedy talks that are going to be quite fast forwarded to a conclusion. And I think the US is adamant that if these talks fail, there will be an attack on Iran, and it will be by the United States, because as I said, Israel alone will not be able to do it. My guess is that Araghchi has gone to Moscow with what he heard on Saturday, trying to find out what the Russians think of what has been said, and trying to work out how far can they rely. My guess is they can't rely on Russia in terms of an all-out war, in terms of supporting them with military, and they know that. I think the Russians have made it clear in various previous conversations, but for ordinary people, the scenarios are quite grim if they look at war, because they realize this isn't, you can't just destroy Iran's nuclear installations without serious implications for ordinary people. And the economic situation is so dire that even the continuation of the current stalemate is not something they can survive with.
Very importantly, we had some very good talks with Iran yesterday and today, and let's see what happens. But I think we could have some good news on the Iran front. Likewise with Hamas on Gaza. We want to see if we can stop that, and Israel. We've been talking to them, and we want to see if we can stop that whole situation as quickly as possible. But having to do with nuclear, we've had some very, very good talks with Iran, and I don't know if I'll be telling you anything good or bad over the next 2 days, but I have a feeling I might be telling you something good. We've had some real progress, serious progress.
You are happy with the talks with Iran. Will there be another round of talks soon?
Very soon. The Iran talks, I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. I can tell you the Iran talks have been going very well.
And you said you're unhappy.
And I'd love that to happen, because I'd love to see no bombs dropped and a lot of people dead. I really would like to see that happen.
Oh, that's going to be